speaks about you actively participating in the affairs of the SAPS, even though you are no longer the minister, being involved in everything that is happening, insinuating that you may have a role to play in what is happening.
Article written by who?
Beg your pardon?
Article written by who?
I just can't remember the article, but it was attached in bundle 3 of the minister's evidence.
That's a problem, because the minister should have consulted me when he sees that and asked, what is this? But more than anything, it would have better to consult me, because anybody, journalists, they write what they like. And you can't hold me responsible that there is an article written by me, whatever that means, whatever that happens, and all that kind of thing. So, but if I can tell you, I've tried to stay out of the lane. It can't be true again that I don't talk to the police. But mostly it will be at the high level so that I don't have the problem. A few weeks, CIC, there was a clash of students at Edgewood of the student command, EFF and SANSCO. Students phoned me. Now, I'm not going to say, yeah. What you do, you pick up the phone, and I phone Deputy Commissioner Makoba. So when it happens, when fire, I'm sure you know fire here, who killed the lady that was a CPF, he was given the bail. She phoned me to say, Minister, I don't know what to do. And I phoned the provincial commissioner to say, there is this matter, can you look at it? And indeed, I can't say, when people phone and they raise the matter saying, we're under attack, can you help us? So the next thing I will do, I will phone the police. And I don't think that it will be so much of irresponsible for me to say, look, I'm no more the Minister of Police, let those people come and shoot you.
Okay. During your tenure as both the National Commissioner and the Minister, which is before 2011, as the National Commissioner, and the 2 terms you have served as the Minister of Police, have you noticed some deep-seated divisions amongst the top generals of the South African police services?
Maybe the word deep does not operate. But these are old people having their opinions and all that kind of thing. There will be issues here and there. And then one job of the executing authority is to make sure that your structure functions proper. There would be issues here and there that one thing that I would do, I try by all means, Honorable Member, to stay above their problems, not to be sept in and become the part of one of them or the group of them. So I'll try. But if the matter is raised, for instance, one matter that was raised very sharply was the exchange between Mkwanaze and Sibia on the matter of briefing about the arrest of AKA. So I was sent that, I looked at it, and I did speak to both of them that you are all not together, but I also speak to Mkwanaze, who even apologized to say, Minister, I went overboard and all that. So I would, if I think things are going wayward, and say, that's not the way, guys. We have a target is to work on crime, not against each other.
Okay, so the last date, let's go back to the IMC. The last date of the meeting of the Interministerial Committee was the 6th of September 2023, which is effectively 6-7 months before the 2024 national and provincial elections. So one would assume that the reason of not sitting in the period after December 2023 is that everyone was out preparing for elections. Now, has the end of the 6th term marked the end of the Interministerial Committee?
No, present.
So, even though the 6th administration ended, the existence of the Interministerial Committee continued to the 7th term.
Honorable Member, there is precedence to that.
Yes.
This committee was called and put there by the President in May 2018, which is the tail end of the 5th administration. And the President puts ministries there, not ministers. This was not an inter-ministers committee, it was inter-ministerial committee, which means ministries that come there. And the ministries have incumbents. The first meeting that met there was Cele for police, Masuta for justice, Duba Letsatsi for intelligence, and Mapisa Ngagula for defense. So as we go for election, this committee meets. Who meets? Is Cele, Lamula, and Kodwa, because there was no minister of intelligence at the time. It was Kodwa, deputy in the president. And Mapisa was still there, but later Modise comes. So those people are there. So there is a precedent. And there was no new announcement by the president to say, Nyakubeka njalo. So we continued until this September, and indeed, I agree with you that after September they would be busy. But also, there was then one activity of the committee when the president instructed them to or approach them, especially with that one, with the Minister of Higher Education now, with the problems that was happening at Forte. I can take you through when there was time, what was happening there. But huge, 173 million of that university was misused by that process. And these police, they stopped the misuse of 173 million, that PKTT. And then when they briefed, so one felt that it would be good if they briefed the president. I think they briefed the president on the 7th of March 2024, almost 2 or 3 months now before election. It was still there. President quite impressed with them. I even joked to say they need some award the way they were doing things. I hope that's not a problem of the award later when the award changed seats at some place. But it would be known. Maybe not cutting deep and cutting there. Mine will be simple. Call the Interministerial Committee. If you believe there is no Interministerial Committee, go to the committee that is related to the JCPS cluster, and you are co-chair with Justice. If you don't believe that that's correct, go to the president to give you the way. I hear that after the letter, the president was briefed 2 months after. That is not consultation. You should tell the president that I've done, you can see what to do. Okay. So for me, that is procedural wrong, but I've heard people saying it's unlawful, it's illegal. I can't say that, but right, no. For me, it was wrong the way it was done.
Yeah, thank you. I was actually coming there on the 7th of March 2024. That the political killings task teams meets the president in Durban to take him through over the 430 battle. The president is impressed and urges them to continue the good work they are doing. So the evidence we have received in this committee is that since 2022, the PKTT's existence was irregular. But besides that, 2019, there was a new designed organizational structure of SAPS that excluded the existence of the political killing system because there was an intended establishment of a new division of murder and robbery and all those things, which was later reconfirmed in 2025. Now, you have got this, that from that period until 2024 in March, the understanding was that this is irregular existence. But the head of state then comes later and say, you're doing a great job, please continue. It gives us a lot of some contradictory reactions in terms of what then becomes the status of the PKTT as things stand.
Chairperson, Chairperson, the structures and the organograms of the police, they are very old. They did not come with this new dispensation. Now I've signed them when I was a national commissioner. I guess JQ would have signed them. I guess 5 of us would have signed them. But at no stage where there are no task teams, with all those organograms, there will be forever task team. One famous task team, people coming from this province will remember, was a task team that was dealing with Pagat. That was a task team dealing with Pagat. But others will be done in response of the agency that can't wait to work under the structure, but also give the extra. And there is nothing illegal with that so long it follows the pattern. As it happened, the interministerial happened with the information note signed by then Commissioners Chole and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter how many times you have the organograms, but there will be always some task teams and some operations as they are. I've counted several of them now. The other one that was put there because of the problem was anti-gang unit. Anti-gang unit, it still exists. I hope it has been found, has been put under the structure. It was in Cape Town alone. It has spread now to other places where there are gangs. There is just one connotation I don't like about it, that is a colored unit. That is not. There is a lot of that here in Khayelitsha working there. There are no colors staying in Khayelitsha. So is an anti-gang unit which was launched by the president, but its existence might be found on the way by the structure and put on the structure and comes after the big umbrella that is called as a visible policing under the component. There is a component that will be called ORS, and that component will fall under the visible policing and all that. Other one that was put as a special was TROT. We did not fix the organogram. TROT had to respond to the crime of cash heist and all that there and then, which really was reduced. So that 2019, I really wish if ceased to exist, what was the process, what was the document? On the 6th of September 2023, we are communicating the decisions taken on the 5th of September 2023 by the interministerial, where the last resolution from one of the members says this team must continue. I haven't seen and heard where people come together and say this team cannot continue.
Okay. Thanks, General. I'm sure you are better experienced to respond on this part of the organogram and stuff, because you have both been the National Commissioner and the Minister. Do task teams necessarily get to be part of an organizational organogram?
task teams are temporal.
It's not divisions.
No, not divisions. They are not units. They are temporal. They are issue bound. They are both time bound and issue bound. Like this pitch, you go there. Initially, it was 4 months, but if you finish your mission in 3 months, definitely it will cease to exist. But also, if you go beyond 4 months or 6 months that is given, and that problem has not been resolved, you are not going to pack and go home and we say, you can kill yourself now, our time is finished. So they find the way of extending it. So they are both time-bound and issue or stroke mission-bound, the task teams.
Okay. As the inaugural chairperson of the IMC that established the PKTT, you say on the 5th of September, you have taken, September 2023, the IMC has taken a decision to extend the existence of the PKTT. Now, it brings us back to the argument we have been having as the committee with witnesses from the beginning of the ad hoc committee. Who has the power to extend the PKTT existence or term of office? Who, given the context of the manner in which it was formulated, starting the president, IMC, PKTT, and all that process, who then has the power to de-establish the PKTT that was established by the IMC, and IMC that was established by the president, who then has got that power of extending one and also de-establishing?
Let's look how is it established. The president makes an announcement in Maritzburg and comes to Parliament about the formation of the interministerial. And these ministers goes to KZN, get briefed by a provincial team that has been existing there by 3 generals and brigadiers, Chiliza, Makashalala, and the head of intelligence. You realize that there is zero work here. And then you give the report back to the president to say, Mr. President, we'll have to find the way. Let's get, or maybe one thing that I can say, Chair, there is a problem in the police of working of the local police on matters. Hence, most of the communities, they're making the call to say, we must exchange the police all the time because they get consumed on the local issues. And so that was detected in the team that they've become some part of the problems. Hence, dismantled 8 of them kept and then invite more others. But as they come, are not called by the ministers. The minister called their DGs. There was a list, there was a big meeting of DGs. And this DG brings this DG brings this. The South African Police DG, by the way, National Commission is a DG. The DG of the South African Police goes and he says to his people works with, develop here the note so that I can be able to sign. And then it's developed by the provincial commissioner and all other commissioners up to the deputy, who is Masimula and Stole, they sign. But it's not only them that they go there, they go back with six prosecutors that they work with them. It's not only them that they go there, they go with provincial and national head of correctional service so that they can implement what is supposed to happen in the court. They go there with the DG of justice so that they work on the special courts. So indeed, IMC would have said, DGs, do we have the job or not here? They say we don't have the job. And what is your recommendation? Is that dissolve the thing and then come to the interministerial, and then interministerial goes back to the president. As it went down, that's the same way that you'd have to come up or vice versa. But nobody, let me tell you, there is no minister of police there. There is a chair of the interministerial. You are there because you are a chair. There are ministerial things that are done by the minister alone, like the border in Mozambique. But this is interministerial. Interministerial, as you have seen these meetings, interministerial would say, you go and communicate. So nobody could have communicated having not mandated but the interministerial.
Okay. The ad hoc committee received evidence that at the heart of the decision for de-establishment is the fact that the PKT is now becoming expensive but less effective, which forms the center or the heart of driving towards the decision of de-establishment. Now, you are disputing that and making an example of two projects you think that are most expensive than the PKTT. You speak about Project Thunder, you speak about Project Lockdown and that. So are there still task teams or projects within the service that you are aware of that are still in existence and expensive more than what we're discussing now?
One of the most expensive is Operation Valumgodi. Operation Valumgodi, we put a lot of money on it. The source, I did explain that it comes from Kara. But honorable member, I will not sit here and deny that there was question of money or cost that was in there. This is not the cost of the party or dancing. It's the cost dealing with the human lives. This committee is sent to investigate, stop and arrest those that have done that, and deal with unresolved cases, which means you go and stabilize. That is a mandate. Your measurement is that one councillor has died, so the area is stabilized. I'm saying until late, all councillors of Nongoma were sleeping at all political parties without fail, all, EFF, ANC, NFP, everyone, everybody. They were sleeping at some hotel somewhere in Richards Bay. They have come back now. I'm told that they've come back because of the arrest of Nkabi and the people that have funded them, which means there is this resemblance of stability at Nongoma. But I say to you, the councillors at Teguin, I don't know other places, especially the ward councillors, are guarded. You know, one dangerous thing in the politics of councillors, honorable members, is to be a councillor on the safe ward of that particular part, because they know if they kill you, whoever kills you will come in. It's not much a problem with PR. The problem is with ward councillors. I'm saying big. The number, I don't know, but not less than 50. So you are not going to call me that is stability. You must go and remove those conditions that make those councillors to be guarded. And then you talk about stability. Because that's the second. The third one, we're going for elections. The history does tell us that local government election, there is a flare-up. Always a flare-up. You can see the statistics. You can go and look at the statistics. There's a flare-up. Then it cannot be going towards that and you say you remove. But the last point, please, use the path you came to go back. The path are those 3 steps that have happened. Deal with those paths and then reach your final stage.
You, in the 31st December 2024 letter, amongst the central reasons that which has led to a establishment of the PKTT is that the assessment made is that it's no longer adding value to the policing in South Africa. Now, as a person who presided over the affairs of the political killings system from 2018 to 2024, what value would you attach to the PKTT in respect to the crime-fighting efforts against political-related killings?
To start with, who did the assessment that it has no value?
The letter of the minister says it adds no value.
And the attachment, the annexure?
There is an annexure that speaks about dockets, some are in court, some there were convictions, the PKTT. But I'm talking about, these are 2 different periods. The period that led to the letter is from July 2024 to December 2024. So I'm talking about a person who has got a long spending with the PKTT from 2018 to 2024. Then, in your experience with having presided over the affairs of the PKTT, what value would you attach yourself to the work that the PKTT has done?
There is only one source that I know has a problem with PKTT. It's Aunt Mary. That's the only source I know. But if you ask me about...
So when you say Aunt Mary, you refer to Professor Mary
Tias.
Okay.
When it comes to the PKTT, I don't have figures, Honorable Member, of the people that have been arrested. With the high-profile cases that we have lived with without being resolved. There is another myth to say they are pursuing cases that are not political. You see the World Office in Kabi, hitmen, they go across the board. They don't only hit politicians alone. They are hired to kill on the taxi world. So if the PKTT finds a person that kills a politician at Nongoma, called Taminyembe as a councillor, and they realize that this Ntuli has killed other tax people, and they are 6, they will pursue that. They are not going to say, stop, don't check now, because the next people they shot is not a politician. They'll pursue, which helps that we are eating on the world of Izinkabi coming from this angle of political violence. So without really going detailed and giving you statistics, those are there. Maybe we will invite the people to give you statistics. For me, it was one of the biggest good decisions that this team was formed. They did not let anybody down. They did the good job. And I believe that even they're taken to other places now, it comes out of their job. And that this thing that I heard somebody in Mafeking coming at these Zulus. What are they doing, these Zulus here? Let me tell you one thing. South African police jurisdiction, because it looks like there is an issue with this going to Gauteng. South African police service jurisdiction is South Africa. It's not province. Jurisdiction is South Africa. The minister only signs when they leave the country. But when they move to the next province, That's the jurisdiction of the South African Police Service. If they do it in Gauteng, they're at home. If they do it in Galashiwa, they're at home. So for me, they cannot be accused for things that are not breaking the law. PKTT, nothing wrong if assessed, but I haven't seen any assessment. And people that have assessed and they said that is needed, they must go back and assess and give the report back to somebody who says, you go and fix it. Otherwise, for me, it's done the good job, and I guess that job is not done.
Thank you.
Honorable Sangwen.
Thank you, Chair. No, I just want a question of clarity on the response that the General just gave. General, I understand you saying that the jurisdiction is South Africa, but when you are a provincial commissioner such as General Mkhwana's, is there any authorization or anything that is required for you to go into different territory? There was, within another province, go to Gauteng. There was a testimony that was put here, I think it may have been by the minister, who seemed, I don't want to put words in his mouth, let's say perplexed, that, you would have law enforcement officers sent from KwaZulu-Natal to operate in Gauteng. I'm not talking about the G-Ops or whatever that thing is called, but is there anything wrong or any additional authorization that is required for General Mkhwana's officers to operate in another province such as Gauteng? Or they can just go because their jurisdiction is South Africa? Thanks.
I think at that level, the National Commission will have to know. But nothing legal that stops them going to do that. I have been in places where there are provincial commissioners visiting and doing the work and all that, awards and all. So, but National Commissioner will have to have something to know about it. The other that people, they raise, the problem is that those police that come from other places for operation, they must report it to the station commanders. Not always, because it could happen that a station commander is a problem. You report it to the station commander goes and tells these guys that, look, not today. So it will be fine if they jet in, they deal with that. What I would argue is that they can go then and report that we had operation here, because it's a fact. We have a lot of local police having a problem in working with wrongful people in that particular area. But the answer is no. There is no breaking law on that one, but follow procedures, report.
Okay. Now let's go to Beverly Hills. You meet Mr. Matlala for the first time, which is after you are no longer the Minister of Police then. He requests you to help him mitigate what he says it's the infighting of SAPS generals that want to use him and drag him in between. But was it not your concern that you are also being dragged to it to mitigate a possible tension or conflict which arises from whatever it is within officials of SAPS, particularly given a background of allegations of you attempting to lead?
Well, it is a concern that I'm drawn in. But more of my concern, and what will really have made me feel bad all the time, should anything bad happens to Khumalo, when I knew that it could happen and it could be helped. So that was my main take here, that Khumalo could not have been allowed to go to the doctrine.
Okay. The evidence received by ATO committee suggests that before December 2024, the minister would have indicated that he would have indicated the intentions of terminating Mr. Matlala's contract with SAPS. Now, you meet him in December 2024. Did he ever suggest that you must go and put a good word for him so that his contract is not terminated?
When did the minister make the suggestion?
It's before December 2024 because the preliminary report, the National Commissioner says they submitted in January 2025. So the intention communicated to the high officials of he already had problems of his contract facing some termination. So did he ever request you to put a good word for him so that his contract is not terminated?
No, it didn't. But I think it will have to be checked when that discussion took place. But there was nothing on the air about the termination when I met Matlala for the first time in Durban.
Okay. So, when did you gain access to his penthouse?
And towards the end of January.
So you have known him for less than a month, or a month?
A month, yes.
Did it not concern you that someone, a stranger, offers you to live at his place freely? There is no relationship, there is no association, there is completely nothing. You only met once or twice, then there is this hospitality towards you, given these problems that he has presented before you, given your experience in the police service. Was there no concern that what might be at stakes here, that I'm given this hospitality by a stranger? Was a person you have known for a month. It's probably a stranger where you don't know much about that person. So did it not raise some discomfort and some concerns that you are really offered this hospitality by a stranger?
No, I took it. I took it. I'm not in government, so if I'm in Pretoria, I pay my money. There is a hotel that I spent years. I'm in Pretoria and I'm not paying, and I took it. And if I were in government, I would have gone and declared, but I declare to nobody now.
Okay, that's fine. So your evidence is that General Shadrach Sibiya presided over a ploy to oust General Khumalo, to an extent of going to write himself, as General Sibiya, an affidavit on behalf of someone else to allege the involvement of General Khumalo in wrongdoing, which I think it has got its own legalities that as well. General Mkhwanazi came to the ad hoc committee and presented to us that the arrest of General Sibiya is a well-coordinated project to specifically stop investigations.
The arrest of General who?
General Khumalo.
Okay.
To specifically stop investigations in Gauteng that are involving criminal syndicates and drug cartels. So would you say the actions by General Sibiya of going to an extent of ensuring that he himself writes the affidavit are actually part of what General Mkhwanazi calls a project to oust General Khumalo?
Well, my understanding of the problem of the PTK, or PKTT, comes from Professor. Yes. So the other one that comes with General Mkhwanazi and them is on the other side. I have no information of it, so I can't deny or agree on it. But it would be interesting to me why General Sibiya would want Khumalo out of the circulation. I'm even tempted sometimes to say maybe maybe that end of cartels, Auntie Mary knows it. They link that I'll do it on the academic side and you do it on the criminal side. So sometimes I suspect, but I didn't have that evidence, except that in talking with Kat, did say that Sibia sometimes runs with the people that are doing drugs. So I was not taken aback when Mkwana says so, but I did not have evidence that does happen.
Okay. You say in your witness statement, you did not even know that Mr. Matlala has got a project in SAPS. And the project was signed and granted to Mr. Matlala during your tenure as the minister. Now, General Mkwanas attested here, or testified here and said, a project that is of the value of 10 million and above, the minister must sign.
Mkwanas?
Yes.
Which are blonde?
I don't know where it does get it, but that is the evidence that he adduced here in the ad hoc committee. So it would automatically, if correct, or it would automatically mean that if that's the case, then the minister was Mr. Bheki Cele, who would have signed the contract, because the contract value starts from 10 million and above.
I'm unlucky of knowing both the worlds. I stayed in the police as a minister for 6 years. I never signed any contract. 6 years. I never signed any contract. I never knew that who runs the contract and all it. Even those contracts, for instance, one major problem I once faced in the police was the question of laboratories. When everything came to a standstill, I spent all my life going to laboratories with the National Commissioner, with those people who work there, and telling that these contracts, 16 of them that made the laboratories not to work, I would sign. But Commissioner, when are you signing this? And nothing comes to minister to sign. Maybe it's one statement that the Commission will withdraw, because no minister signs that.
Yeah, part of what becomes a responsibility of the ad hoc committee, based on the basis of being an ad hoc committee to investigate this, but beyond that, based on being a structure of parliament that is obligated to make laws. You are raising a lot of frustrations in your experience with SAPS, with bail, which is in Section 35 of the Constitution. And amongst of the responsibilities that we have here is to check if there are systematic gaps as a legislative arm of government that we can learn from in this process and make necessary amends. So are there any propositions the General wants to leave the ad hoc committee with in respect of Section 35, who grants every accused person bail? How do you think a legislative arm that is empowered to make laws must navigate through that to assist the police service to attend to bail-related issues?
Just to remind both of you that it's 5 minutes left.
No problem, Chair. Well, are there any propositions, General?
Chair, I'm told that the laws are there. I have heard of Section 6, Section 5, member Bregenberg is gone, but there are lawyers here. I'm told that with the schedule, is it 5 or 6, you can't repeat the same thing and be given the bail. So, can people implement the laws of the country that are there to stop the crime? And if it needs be, enhance them, because I can assure you, with bail supplied like we are a Father Christmas, criminals, they go all the way to repeat exactly what they've been arrested for. And the police, there are police that are shot and killed by the people that are on bail. We bury them. So I would say if there is, but work with these laws maximally, but enhance them if you can to make sure that life is difficult for those that break the law.
Okay, thank you. The people of South Africa said, I must tell you that they have forgiven you for destroying their alcohol and for calling them Inunu. Thank you very much, sir.
Can I get indication? Who is starting? Honorable Nomvalo.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening.
Chairperson, can I request that Honorable Nomvala is behind the head of Mpangazitha, so I can't
Obstructing.
I can't see him.
Yeah. Good evening, General.
It's up until 10 minutes past 7, your time expires.
Noted, Chair. Sabona, General.
Honorable member.
You have made, there's a statement that you have made today before this ad hoc committee, which left me with many concerns. You said that you made an assumption that there might be an attempt to arrest you because you do not support a particular perspective towards the National Conference of the ANC. You said there's an individual that you don't support for being a deputy president or the president of the ANC. Now, should we be worried, General, as citizens and as members of parliament, that state institutions are weaponized to circle political scores, and in particular towards ANC conferences? I'm not saying this because I'm offensive or I'm obsessed with the ANC, but you have mentioned the name of the ANC, hence I'm making a reference to it. Should we be worried that state institutions get weaponized to circle political scores towards ANC conferences?
Chairperson, I have no evidence that this person was talking the truth, but he did talk about it. But my worry would be why that statement from Pandey would be sent to this person. That gives some kind of weight that these things might happen. So if it is so that the state apparatus are utilized to settle political score, that is a danger that should be really dealt with and make sure that is eradicated. It cannot be.
Yeah, maybe let me put it like this, General, because the fortunate part here is that I'm not talking to a person with no experience of how the justice cluster operates. We have massive experience. You've been a national commissioner, a minister, and so on and so forth. Do you have experience of state apparatus being misused to fight political battles? During your term, have you ever experienced that?
No.
We have never experienced.
No.
Now, what inspires an assumption that it can happen against you? From what angle are you drawing that inference? If it has never happened, if you have no experience of it?
Well, nothing inspires me except that it was said so. The question, is it truth or not? But the said, I'm going to arrest umngani wakho on this statement, and indeed this statement is sent to that person. So it comes from there. It does not come from there. So I'm not, nothing that inspires me to believe that way is because of the statement. Whether the statement is true or not, then is another case, but the statement is said to me.
So the ANC is going to its national conference, I think in 2026, right? 2027. So we should not have any concern that state institution, or there is a high possibility of weaponizing state institutions to settle political scores. So we must allay our fears. That is impossible based on the experience that you have.
No.
Can you give that assurance
No,
to the committee?
the experiences are time bound. I'm not going to give you the assurance about the time that I won't be there. I can give you the assurance about the time that I've been there.
Okay.
So in future, I wouldn't say no. But previously, I would say it did not happen.
It has never happened.
I'm not sure about never, but it has not happened that I know of as I was there.
No, but you were in a position to see it if it happened, when it happened.
Not at
because you were a minister, you were a national commissioner. So you can easily detect when such is prevalent.
I told you, I don't know if you were here, honorable members, that I was taped I was a national commissioner, but I was taped from December until March. I didn't know. It was illegally done until one member of the counterintelligence came to report that such thing happened. So I would not guarantee that I will know everything, including those that touch me, as I'm saying to you. I didn't know that I was taped by the people that I work with. So it's not guaranteed that I will know everything.
You have a meeting with Matlala for the first time. You don't know him. He is introduced to you by this guy, and he tells you his problems. And he asks for your interventions. And you acted as per his request. Am I putting it correctly?
Yes.
Yeah. And then he tells you that they are trying to persuade him to lie under oath against Khumalo. As a national commissioner, you know that lying under oath is perjury. It's a criminal offense.
Yes.
You know, General. Now, it means this guy, Sibia, was attempting to commit a criminal offense. Am I correct? Had he succeeded in his attempts to influence Matlala to lie about the jewelry that was stolen by the police, he would have committed an offense. In fact, both of them, because Matlala would have signed the affidavit under the influence of Sibia. So that would be perjury. Had Sibia succeeded.
If that is true, happened that way, I would concur, I would agree with you.
Don't you think, General, that you became irresponsible and reckless by making an intervention on a matter that required the police to act? Because my view, if you can ask me to advise you after getting that instruction or that request, I would say tell Matlala to report the matter to the police so that the police can investigate. And indirectly, by your intervention, you helped Sibia to escape, because had you allowed Sibia to do whatever he wanted to do and trap him, maybe he will be behind bars today for trying to break the law. So you made a political intervention in a illegal matter which required an investigation by the police, don't you think you were a bit irresponsible and reckless?
Two things on my mind, and I've mentioned it before, honorable member, that I could not have allowed Khumalo to be made a scapegoat. Second thing, I did say to Matlala must go and speak to Khumalo. You say I should have told him to go and speak to the police. I did tell him to go and speak to Khumalo. What I've said here, I don't know if they did speak, but I did tell him to go and speak to Khumalo. Khumalo is a police, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'm saying to report a matter. Remember, it involved Khumalo.
But Khumalo,
I'm saying, General, to advise him to report or to open a case so that the police can investigate. When you tell Khumalo, it involved him. So he couldn't open a case. To say, Matlala, as a former minister of police and as a former national commissioner, I know the law. I think this is the best way we can approach it. Now, you invited your participation unnecessarily so by making political interventions in a matter that required the attention of the police. Today, if what we are saying is anything to go by, we are sitting with a person who has not been punished for attempting to commit a criminal offense, Sibia. He has never accounted for what he attempted to do because of your political intervention that you did. What is your comment on that?
My comment is the same answer that I did tell Matlala to go and speak to Khumalo. Khumalo is a police. So Khumalo would advise, but I did advise. I didn't say that he must go and speak to the magistrate who, I said go and speak to Khumalo, who is the police. And Khumalo would have then synthesized what to do with that information. But my advice was speak to Khumalo, who happens to be a police, a very senior police.
Now, General, after having this meeting with Matlala, the meeting was in December, right? Am I correct? The first meeting?
Yeah, was in December.
It was in December. Then in January, Matlala offers accommodation to you. Between that meeting in January, were you communicating with Matlala, either telephonically or physically? Have you ever met between the first meeting and the date on which you slept in his apartment?
Yes, we were communicating, but the communication was coming from Mabonga. These snapshots, or whatever shots, were coming to me from Mabonga that this what has been sent either by the minister or Mohotsi. I guess most will come from Mohotsi. And that the one that will make me even communicate further is the one that I know of Pandey, where I realize that this thing is getting escalated to the level that I need to sit down and discuss it.
So during that period, you were talking about the same matter that he introduced
It would
to
be
you.
that matter and other matters. For instance, the other matter would have been the Sibia and minister having to deal with somebody that has sent somebody to prison now is a good time. Somebody going to the KZN, those would be short snaps that would be sent. That is a communication. Which communication that needs to deal with Khumalo, especially Khumalo and the Mkwanas. So the explanation and the discussion will be around understanding further on those matters.
So when you get there on the date where you were offered accommodation, who do you find there? Was Matlala there? in the apartment, or he sent somebody?
It was Mabonga.
It was on the date where you were given accommodation to sleep. So Matlala gave an instruction telephonically that they should let you in, correct?
Telephonical to who?
No, I'm asking General. I'm not making a statement. That is why I'm saying correct. I want you to correct me, to give me the correct version.
Now I want to know, he gave instruction to who? To me or to the hotel?
To the hotel.
No, I think he sent something, he wrote something.
To the hotel.
To the management, yes.
To the management.
Yeah.
So you didn't see what he wrote to them, the content of the
It was
message.
read here.
Yes.
It's the one that says,
He calls you,
is my friend
he's
and
your-
the business partner, if we could give them the access.
Okay. So you sleep there, and then after sleeping, you slept for 2 days, right?
Yes.
And then you never met him. You left having not met him
On that particular
during
day.
that particular period.
No, we met because the issue was to speak about these new things, to expand on it. That's why I slept there, because we had a meeting to further explain about these shots that were sent to him.
Yeah. You said, General, the statement that you have made was suggestive of a person who is remorseful for
Person
having
who is
met, remorseful for having met Matlala. You said you wish awuzange uhlangane naye. That's what you said. I think you have put it in Zulu. You said you wish awuzange uhlangane naye.
That comes late when I know who he is.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but initially, when he has not been arrested, when he has all these things, a normal person, no, I don't regret the time. But it was information as we go on to say, it does look like I met a wrong person.
So you meet this person, General, for the first time. He gives you a delicate instruction which involves operations in the police. After that, he offers you accommodation. But still, you don't make a research of who this person is and what are his intentions.
What,
So you just,
what information, delicate information? Information is about me.
no, not about you, General. You said this person told you about many things, that he's being used, that there's influence, that he must write an affidavit and lie about Khumalo. That is delicate. That is sensitive.
No, that is first meeting,
Yes,
honorable member, yes.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying you meet this person, he offers you accommodation. You don't make a
You
research of,
didn't offer me the accommodation.
not on the
first.
same day, General. I'm saying on the next occasion, in January. You met for the first time in December, he offers you accommodation in January, correct? I'm asking, you don't even bother to make a research of who this person is and what intentions does he has.
Research for what?
To know the person.
Because it's giving me the accommodation.
So it's enough for you, General, to
I'm
meet.
happy to get the accommodation.
So-
I'm in Pretoria, I'm not going to pay.
Yeah, General, I know it's easy to downplay it, but
I'm-
it's
I'm-
more complex. It's
I'm
more complex than that. So for you, it's easy to meet up with a person for the first time. He discusses sensitive things with you. You don't know that person. You don't ask where he comes from. You don't even bother to drill down his history and his standing in society. You just take instructions and implement them. Because where I'm worried the most here, General, that you are a police officer, even though you're retired. But the skill is still there of a police officer. Now, are you easily accessible like that? That you can just meet a person, take instructions, he offers you accommodation, still you don't bother to drill down the history of this person, their credibility in society, and their standing. Are you easily accessible like that?
Don't mix things. I meet this guy. It gives me information. My worry is Khumalo. So I work on that. But then continues to let me to know things that would be about Khumalo and about me this time. That warrants me knowing the meeting knowing the issue of me getting involved. Then I go to Pretoria to talk especially about things that are said by me to be arrested. What is that? Can you explain? So I'm in Pretoria. Then I realize that is got the place, instead of paying and sleeping, I'm offered on this one. So I just do that. It has been the journey from December until January, end of January. I did not see this guy and went to sleep on the thing. And the information that given to me is information that I use to stop whatever could have to Kumalo, but it moved beyond Kumalo. It came to me to say, by the way, you are not spared yourself in this process.
Yeah, no, General, I think you are not. I'm saying exactly. The sequence of events that we have outlined is exactly what I was saying. And I said to you, where I get worried the most is when you take instructions from a stranger, being a former national commissioner, being a former minister of police, and implement those instructions, because you implemented the request of Matlala. He asked you to intervene and you intervened. And you implemented the instructions of Matlala without even verifying the credibility of Matlala. You relied on a version of one person of Matlala. That is what I'm saying. Before we even go to January, when you went to his accommodation.
Chairperson, maybe I'm not understanding. I'm not making you understand well. The angle for me has got nothing to do with the comfort of Matlala. The angle for me here is that Kumalo is in danger of being lured and made to go to court, not for genuine reason, but to make sure that they grind him. And all. So there where I come from the angle of Kumalo. If Matlala benefits for that, good luck for him. But I did not go there and work things on Matlala. I went there. Hence, I spoke to Kumalo, and I spoke to Matlala to speak to Kumalo, so that Kumalo is not put in this problem of going genuinely to court and only to find that he's going to court to be looted and taken on the other side. So my angle is a safety and protection of Kumalo, honorable member.
Yeah, but General, had Matlala not approached you, you were not going to go to Kumalo. You went to Kumalo because Matlala asked you to do so.
It didn't ask me to go to Kumalo. It told me about the issues that are going to happen. And then I say it will be better if speak to Kumalo and then this thing doesn't go to court, because it's not the question of going to court, it's a question of Kumalo being sold out.
Okay. When President Zuma was the president of South Africa, when you were the national commissioner, did you...
Honorable Malema.
No, let me understand this. So, Mabonga calls you minister, and then you find Matlala, and then Matlala gives you information about Kuman. Then you say to Matlala, you have to talk to Kumalo about this information, which is potentially going to damage him or destroy him. Did you, out of that conversation, did you go and talk to Kumalo also, that I came across this kind of information?
I did speak to Kumalo.
So you called a meeting and met Kumalo?
Kumalo and I, we met, two of us.
Yes.
Yes. And
out of that information of Matlala?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Can I proceed, Chair? General, when President Zuma was the president of South Africa, you were the national commissioner, right? Did you have access to him, even outside your working hours?
Yes, I did.
Now, you are saying Balula and the former minister, Natim Tetwa, may his soul rest in peace, came to you to give you an instruction which you never agreed with, that you must get rid of Tau. And you did not implement that. You took Tau from one position to another. And they said, Shabalala, and they said to you, they are acting on President Zuma's instructions. Did you approach President Zuma about that? Did you tell him that Deputy Minister Mbalula and Minister Natim Tetwa have approached me? They are saying this is an instruction we have given them, and they are saying I must implement it. And these are my reservations about what you are saying, if you said it. Did
No,
you
I
make
did
that attempt?
No, I did not approach President Zuma. After I've been approached and told by the ministry, both the minister and the deputy, I really realized that it was serious, but I realized that it was wrong, could not be implemented.
Chair, I don't know if Honorable Skosana wants to speak. His hand is up. So, you acted on a hearsay because at the end of the day, you implemented the instruction, but not as is. You did something else. So you acted on a hearsay.
What is the hearsay?
A hearsay is being told that so and so said this
Told
without
by who?
by the person who came to you.
Who is that person?
You say Mbalula came to you, Natim Tetwa came to you. They said
what is their position?
they are minister, deputy
Yes, and
minister.
deputy minister. There is no hearsay from
No,
the minister and deputy.
but you will have to lower your temperature down, General.
Like yours too.
Yeah, no,
Yours
it's not
too.
up.
Both of us.
No,
we
no,
must-
it's
we
not
must lower
up.
it.
You'll have to lower it down. Anger is
If
not
it goes
going to
up,
help.
it goes up.
No.
If it goes down, it goes down.
Anger is not going to help any
General-
of us. Yeah.
General Cele, we welcome you here as our guest. Honorable Nomvalo, we have a duty to be hospitable to our guests. So what South Africans want to see between us and our guests is a conducive environment that helps us to resolve the problems that we have. At all times, let's try to avoid altercations between Parliament and the guests that we have invited here. If you can calm your nerves and continue, especially that you come from one province, show us the way. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Minister, General, you acted on what you were told is an instruction by Mbalula and Natim Tetwa. You acted on the basis that you were told that it's Zuma's instruction, and you never verified if indeed President Zuma said that.
It would be good if you give the titles to Mbalula and Mteto.
Yes. Minister Mbalula and Deputy Minister Mbalula and Minister Mtetwa.
Yes.
Yes.
Not just Mbalula or
I've-
Mteto somewhere.
Yes, I've corrected it.
Is a minister, Mteto, Minister of Police,
Yes.
and there's Deputy Minister of Police. They are speaking to the DG of the department that they are sent by the president. Well, for me, that will be enough to believe that those people can come with a hearsay, both of them at the same time. So indeed, as my ministers, and I'm their DG, I had to listen to that.
Okay. If I can summarize to you the reasons for the decision of the minister, the suspended Minister of Police, Minister Senzo Mchunu, for disbanding the political killings task team. The first reason is that A, he had constitutional powers to do so. That is his version. B, he had budgetary concerns. C, he received a number of complaints from members of the public. D, which is the last one, there was a work study which introduced a new organogram, which was signed by the commissioner, by the national commissioner, this year in May. Now, let's go to the third concern of of complaints from members of the public. During your time as a minister, did you ever receive any complaint from members of the public?
Yes.
Can you disclose the nature of complaints? Can I give you one of the complaints that he highlighted before this committee? He highlighted two complaints. The one has been deliberated on. A complaint from Mary Haas and a complaint from Patricia Mashale. Now, for Patricia Mashale, he attached Facebook post by Patricia Mashale, in which Patricia Mashale was making accusations about the abuse of money in the secret account of crime intelligence. He was accusing many people, accusing Kumalo, General Kumalo, accusing General Masemula. Did you ever receive a complaint of that nature?
No, I have not. But if I had, I would take that information to the IGI for verification. I would not just take it from the Facebook. To start with, Marshall has got nothing to do in understanding and knowing the things of, he's doing a criminal activity herself. That he gets that information. But from my side, I would have gone to the IGI rather than taken that from the face value. And there's been the IGI here. On other matters you have raised, Honorable Member, you raised that it was within his constitution. I'm not a constitutional lawyer.
No, I'm sorry for interjecting you. I want us to deal with one reason, and then we'll go to the other when we're done with this one. Can you share the nature of complaints that you received? Because you said you also received some complaints.
Chair, the Honorable Member raises 4 points, but he wants me to deal with one, when he raises them simultaneously. Can he raise them one and I respond one? If he raises 4, I'll respond to 4. Simple.
Yes, General. No,
Yes.
we will go to others, don't worry. For now, we're dealing with complaints from the members of the public. I want us to deal with that aspect adequately. Then from that one, we'll go to others. I'm not going to deny you an opportunity to give an explanation. With regards to complaints from members of the public, did you ever receive, can you share the nature? Because I want to identify if there are any similarities between the complaints that he received and the complaints that you received.
Okay. I'll do that, but Chair, that was not the first point. The first point is that it was within his constitution. So I don't know whether to start where you started or I start second.
Chair, may you assist me? I'm saying to the General, I was making a summary of the grounds for the minister to disband. And then I made a request to him that let's first deal with one aspect of the grounds of the minister. We will go to others. We will go to the constitutionality, to the work study. But I want us to finish this one first, then we move to others, General. We will go to the constitutionality, don't worry. Can I repeat the question?
No.
You got it?
I heard it very well.
Okay.
I have received the complaints from the members of the community. One was that the police have not acted as the case has been reported to them, they can see that a person that has committed the crime is still roaming around. So they would phone and say, police are not arresting the particular person that is suspected to be. That is one of the complaints which have received from the members of public.
Okay. Then let's move to another one. We will attend to all of them, General. Another one is that there was a work study which was established in 2019, if my memory serves me well, and later signed by General Masop Semula in 2025, this year, May. Now, this is the logic of the minister. The minister says, the work study made the PKTT to cease to exist because of its scope of framework. It had a unit which was a permanent structure which was dealing with murder and robbery. So that unit, by its nature and design, nullified the PKTT because had they coexisted, there was going to be a duplication of responsibilities and tasks. Does that make sense to you? I'm asking based on your experience, and I think you can enlighten us more.
You say that is logic. That is illogical logic, not a logic. Task teams are done outside the structure. Task team, honorable member, are done outside the structure. They are issue-based. And usually they are directed by two things. They are directed by time frame and the accomplishment of that particular thing that has happened. There are many, I don't have long list of task teams. I can mention few I remember. One of them is this one that we talk about, the famous one. The other one is a taxi violence task team. I'm sure you have heard of it. The other one will be task team deal with nicotines. There's task team dealing with illegal mines. So it will be good for the minister to explain why only this one. If there is a long list, why all these are not put under the structure? Structure that is created all the time, all the history. Created when there is an issue to be dealt with, finish it and go home, based on two things, time and accomplishment. So I would say this logic is illogical.
Okay. Let's move to a third reason. The minister said he had budgetary concerns. Did you share the same sentiments when you were still there as a minister? Did you ever have any budgetary concern regarding the finances of the PKTT?
No doubt that the budgetary concerns were not there. They are always there, with other several task teams and projects. I have said here, the most expensive one is Operation Valumkot. Police alone on that one were budgeted 1.2 billion. That money came from Kara. I have explained what Kara is. The other one is Operation Nkotwemvubu, up there. The other one is this one. The other one is the Western Cape one, Operation Thunder, which ended up as an Operation Lockdown. So they are all expensive, and indeed it would have helped if there is any cheaper way. But they are also measured with life and loss of life. Their mission is to stop people dying and create the stability. Indeed, they pay money for that. At no time, personally, I hope you'll support me on that, that will begin to measure the cost vis-a-vis the loss of life.
Okay, now let's move to the last one, General, the one that you have been yearning for, of the Constitution. But I want to put it this way, General. In your view, is establishing and disbanding a task team a policing policy issue or an operational issue, in your understanding? I'm trying to simplify it, General, so that you don't accuse me of asking you questions which require a response of an expert. In your understanding, based on the experience that you have.
Is the same question or same roundup on the constitutional matter?
It's the same question, but put in a different way.
Okay. Can I ask the portion of constitution?
Yes, you can.
Well, I'm not a constitutional court, so
Yeah.
I would not know if the matter is constitutional or not constitutional. That needs to be tested, and there are mechanisms of testing that. It can't just be me, and I guess it can't just be you to say is your constitutional, unless you are advised, legal and constitutional, so to say, here is an advice in my hand. It would have been good for the minister to say, I disband it because I've been constitutionally advised, and here is a constitutional advice from me. So I would not argue things that I do not know, and most of us, we don't know, including the minister on that constitutionality of the matter.
Honorable Sangone.
Sorry, Chair, I just wanted to get your attention, but maybe when the general finishes, I just wanted to get clarity on that.
The second one, honorable member, if this is a policy matter, this is a matter called by the president to the ministers, and the ministers call on their operators, which are DGs and all that. So it's both. So if anybody needs to take decision about it, he needs to walk all the path of both policy and operations, since it was taken that way. I've said the way that we have come down, let's use it to go up. It cannot be that is taken by president to ministers, to DGs, to the team. And when the team goes, you just go to one place and you say, here it is. That would be wrong. What I would not argue here, I would not say is illegal or unlawful. Those that are better placed to say so, they will. But for me, it's unprocedural and wrong.
Okay. When the PKTT was established, okay, no, you can come in.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you can rule me out of order because maybe I'm not seeking clarity. I'm saying you rule me out of order if I am, because now that I think about it, maybe I'm not seeking clarity, I'm following up. But I was going to ask on the question that Honorable Nomvalo asked about policy versus operational matters. The General went to a great deal of length to explain why the minister should have consulted IMC or JCPS cluster. Now, if he were minister, would he, if he wanted to close the PKTT, could he have, by consulting IMC and JCPS, or even seeking permission for the president, does he think it would have been in his authority to do that? Thanks, Chair.
General, what steps would you have followed if you wanted to dissolve the PKTT?
Let me start with the contradiction. If I'm not mistaken, the statement has been made that since 2022 there was no interministerial. I think I've heard that. If there is no interministerial, then there is no chair. What authority do you have to dismantle things that don't exist as you argue? That's the first one. But on this one, this structure is not done by one department, which you are member of it. Basically, there were 4 core departments. Others would come. I remember that Home Affairs would come, attend, and all that kind of stuff. But there were 4 that were core. That was Justice, which was together with the Correctional Service. I know now they are splitted, which means now we would call both Justice and Correctional Service. Secondly was Defense. Then was the State Security. For me, if it's not clear, unless you say there is a legal advice that has been given to you that there is no interministerial, if it is not, I'm sure it will be a respect to go to the colleagues to say, there is this thing. I'm not sure what next to do. I'm part of you. I'm one of you. I'm not thee. I'm not thee. I'm one of you. This interministerial, there is the Minister of Justice, there is Minister of Defense, there is Minister of State Security. Invite them. And they say, look, we don't know what to do about this matter. Maybe a person, if you all don't know, some would say we continue as it happened. I did say, honorable member, there was precedence that 2018, this thing came 2018. After election 2019, there was continuity after that. Maybe if then you are not sure, you say, somebody here came with idea of the interministerial. Let's ask that person. It happens to be a president. Maybe even you go to the president, can we put this matter of disbandment to the structure that we know exists, with the JCPS cluster, where all these ministers, they sit on it. So some kind of consultation, some kind of walking the path should have happened, Honorable Chair. Should have.
Can I proceed, Chair? Okay. Now, there is a task team, General, that was established in terms of the evidence that has been adduced here, which was established before the 2018 task team. Do you have knowledge of that task team? Which was in existence before the one that was produced, and that the one that was established by the IMC.
Which IMC?
The Interministerial Committee.
No, there was no task team established before by interministerial.
No.
It was established by the provincial commissioner.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, General. Okay. My question is, the 2018 task team was established by the IMC. Before that one, there was a task team that was in existence. I don't know who established it. Now, the evidence that was put before us is that that task team was dismantled because it was not functional. It was not efficient. It was not producing any tangible results. The result of which they established this new task team, which is multidisciplinary in its formation, which consisted of all the stakeholders that we have mentioned. Now, what criteria was used to identify police officers in this new, the 2018 task team?
You say this was dismantled. Let me add, after it has been met by the IMC, it was not dismantled telephonically or through the letter. It was met and discussed and assessed, and everybody agreed that it has produced zero work. I think you see that difference, Honorable Member, of meeting by the IMC now. And the IMC need to change the lane here. One thing that was identified in the meeting, because we had information out of the meeting, was that there were many members of the task team, which happened to be the police alone. It was not multidisciplinary. There were many members that were consumed on the violence that was going on. Therefore, the problem was not going to be resolved. So those members had to be taken out and bring the members coming from the different provinces that have no roots and understanding of the people that were there. That was criteria, because the major problem was that those members were themselves involved. Hence, at the later stage, quite several of the members there were arrested because they were part of problem.
Okay.
But that information derived from the meeting rather than writing the letter. IMC could have written the letter to say we're dismantling you, but did not do so. It went there, met those people and discussed.
So is there any founding document that was establishing this task team, which was giving guidance on how it must operate, or it was a resolution that was made followed by a media statement? Is there any founding document?
Interministerial called their departments, and then their departments had to send their people. The police have to send their persons. From the side of the police, yes, there is a document establishing that, Honorable Member.
Okay.
There is a note establishing it.
Okay. Now, the NPA was accounting where? Was accounting to the NPA
No,
for the work of the PKTT.
was accounting to interministerial.
Okay.
They could account separately, but procedurally they had, because their minister was sitting in the interministerial. All those departments, there was this team of DGs, Honorable Member, that were there, who would then come, and then the ministers come and listen to them as they account. I would not deny that maybe the prosecutors might have briefed the head of or DG. I would not. But framework was that they report to the interministerial.
Okay, so in a media statement that you made on the 3rd of August 2018, you made these remarks, open quote, "As a way of progress, we have taken a decision to change the members of the task team that were responsible for the investigations into the killings. The new project team has 118 new members plus 8 members from the previous task team." So you took 8 from the previous one. And why did you take them? They were more efficient than others. Is that a correct assumption?
After the discussion, that's what we discovered. After the discussion, I hope the discussion really helped.
Yeah. Now, there are cases which were withdrawn, General. There are cases, I remember at some point, the case of Makaka, the arrests which were made in 2017, if my memory serves me well, between 2017 and 2018. Now, General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made an averment here that in the previous task team, they identified some elements of criminality. Ipso facto, they decided to establish this new one. Now, was there any collaboration in terms of the assessment that you made between the police officers and the NPA members, the prosecutors, which led to the withdrawal of cases in court? You would remember how the first arrest happened in Cindy Somakaka case. The accused were arrested. I think they spent about a week or 2 weeks in jail in Pietermaritzburg. Later charges were withdrawn. Was that as a consequence of an unethical collaboration between the police and the prosecution? Or it was just a genuine withdrawal, there was no sufficient evidence?
I have no authority to say it was so. but they might have suspicions of other things, like the prosecutors and magistrates. Remember, this team was it was given 4 months, and it would be extended maybe another 3 months. What was key and happening is that the case will be open, honorable member, and postponed and adjourned to the immediate after the expiry of the term of the team, which means if it expires, would have gone to ordinary kind of investigation that was there. So that kind of thing, it did tell us that there's some collaboration here. There are some methodologies, some methods that are used to tire this team, because we know that after 3 months is going. So it will be 2 days after the team is expected to go that then you can come to court. On that score then, that's, by the way, another thing that informed the decision of the DGs to say we're not going to give the timeline now of when it ends, so that they deal with the matters that are there. But also it was raised with the leadership of the NPA that we suspect that there is a problem in terms of prosecutors and the magistrate. Evidence on that, I don't. But evidence, the thing that I can put on the table is that there is that timing of this team postponement and coming to it. So what happened to those suspects you talk about? One of them, I think, is dead. May his soul rest in peace too. Was withdrawn, but most of us were very much happy. We're very much unhappy about that withdrawal. So when then you are briefed is that there is insufficient information. When the information is sufficient, it will be reinstated. So you can't do anything about that.
Okay. So my assumption is that you decided to establish a new modus operandi, this multidisciplinary approach, because you wanted all the components of the value chain of the justice class that to be involved, so that there will be no complaint. There's a general complaint by the police that we arrest people and they get bail on the following day. You have also made a mention of that. So you brought all these role players together so that there can be a link and a proper handover to say police who are here, prosecution who are here, the prosecutor will account for progress, judges are here, and so on and so forth. So did that kind of arrangement make any significant impact or any significant progress as compared to the previous one, the previous arrangement?
Huge impact, huge, very big. Maybe when you see the statistics and what happened, it was not just big, it was huge.
Okay. Now, General, do you have a friend in a taxi industry? A friend of friends?
In the taxi industry,
Yes.
a friend.
Yeah.
I don't have friends.
So you don't have a friend who is a taxi boss?
No.
Do you have people that you speak with at a personal level in a taxi industry?
What do you mean personal level? Hey, how are you?
I mean people that you don't speak about business or work.
No, in the taxi industry, most people that I speak, it comes from their business, especially on violence. And there are quite several people that I would speak to them in terms of trying to resolve problems. One of them would be Mandla Kaba. One of them would be Mswazi. One of them would be Ujo. I've recently spoken to Ujo, and there will be others. And by the way, it's not new. The many of them that I've spoken to them, but it will be more on relation to the work they do.
Okay, so was this PKTT, because I'm trying to establish here whether a narrative that was put out there that the PKTT was no longer effective was correct or not. Was this PKTT able to go to the root cause of political killings in KZN? And can I share you a perspective? I had also put the same perspective to General Masemola. That my observation, General, is that because of a decline of a profit margin in a taxi industry, the former taxi bosses have crossed the floor. They have crossed from taxi businesses to tenders. And their anchors in a tendering system are councillors or are politicians. Now, to safeguard their interests, they make sure that their people are always in power because it's their people who give jobs to them. And they do anything in their power, including using the same modus operandi that they used while they were at the helm of a taxi industry. They use the same modus operandi of eliminating people who appear to be a stumbling block to their business interests. So I think largely that is what contributes to a scourge of political killings. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with my perspective?
No, I don't.
Are you willing to go further, General, or I must go to another?
Well, the question is, do I agree? I say I don't.
Okay. Do you have any perspective which opposes mine?
Chairperson, the taxi industry problem is old. It's very old. I would suspect that it might be older than you, Honorable Member. I don't know how old, but to me, we don't look that old. Especially under the special dispensation. I think there was much. This perspective, if you come, does not come from now, if it is there. There was an industry that was not regulated from the very word go. I don't know where were you when taxis were valiants. Do you know the car called a Valiant? Yeah, okay. Honorable Skosana would know that one. So there where they started with I'm a Valiant, I'm a four-seater and all that kind of thing. So unregulated. So it was an easy kind of business where mostly black people could come because others, there were no opportunities. And indeed, it was allowed to go unregulated and then became the survivor of the fittest some time ago, not now, some time ago. By the way, there have been commissions after commissions working on this industry. What is a problem on it? But at the later stage, there was the entrance of big criminality on it. One of it, people that have stolen the money, special cash heist, they came in this industry, Honorable Member. Some of them, they came here because it's easy to wash your money. You work with cash and every day. In the early years, I think 96, I remember Ndebele was an MSc for transport. We tried to work on the program called recapitalization. That recap, you had 6 forms to sign. 2 of them was blue and yellow. I can't remember which was yellow. But the other one was say, write your criminal records. And the other one will say, write your SARS history. And those, as they fill those forms, the filling will end there. They would not come on it. Because they wanted to continue with cash, and the cash helps to money laundering, clean, and all that. So those elements, they came on it. So indeed, I would half agree with you that there have been floor crossing to tenders with some of them. But what we would not agree is that this criminality entering this industry is new. It has been evolving. Taxi, cash heist, robberies, tenders, politicians coming on. It has been evolving all the time.
At the center of these political killings is a fight for tenders. Is that correct? At the center. People are not necessarily fighting to be councillors, but they are fighting for tenders. Is that a correct narrative? That's
a big statement. I'll have to be given that information. I don't have that information. I don't have that information that people die for tenders. In KZN, political killings come from very far, come as en masse, where it would be political, though the political issue was a front, it was a system that was killing people. There were no tenders there. There were no tenders. When people were dying in numbers, at 1 year, honorable member, there are 52 weeks in the year. 52 weeks. I spent 47 weeks burying people dying in numbers. So, absolutely, that was even before the election, so there were no tenders. It could have been evolved, and then you say it would be tenders. But the matter, the matter of Shoba and the people that were killed on the Christmas day, there were no tenders for that. They were not killed for tenders.
Okay, not that. Thanks, Makai. I think this is my second last question. General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi said when he appeared before this committee that he thinks General Khumalo has been a target for a very long time in the SAPS. At some point, there was an attempt to assassinate him in an airport, and there was an attempt to unfairly link him with a murder of Sindiso Makak. Do you agree with those sentiments?
That he has been a target?
Yes.
I agree.
Now, I made a follow-up to that question that is he in possession of evidence which suggests that he has never been involved in a murder of Sindiso Makak? And he said yes. And I know that during your time as a minister, they were also accounting to you for progress that they've made in some cases. And the case of Sindiso Makak was one of the most popular cases.
I don't have that information.
You don't have that information. Thank you very much. The chair has indicated that I'm running out of time. Thank you, Chair.
You know, Magacha was a good friend of mine.
And they refused you going to the funeral.
They refused me to bury him, but I pay for school fees of his children now.
That's good of you. I was at the funeral, though I was not in government then.
It is his time.
Thank you, Chair. Baba Ndosi.
Yebo.
Ngiyaphila Nkosi yami.
Siyaphila lo ngelihloniphekile lo.
Siyaphila.
Leshamthetho sikazwelonke.
Asithembe baba, asithembe. Nkosi yami, ngicela ukubuza la. Ekuqaleni kwethemu yakho obuminister suke kugcina until ekugcineni. Did you know of any of the allegations lezi ezikhulunywayo ngoGeneral uSibiya zokuthi eGauteng wayethenge equipment engekho emthethweni to nanokuthi uMr Herman Mashaba weAction SA bafihla information from ulokhunje from former public protector mayelana necompetence yakhe ukuthi akayiphasile base bemcasha?
I knew a problem about the equipment, the gadget. The competence and all that I heard from you for the very first time. And I was surprised. I didn't know about that. But I did know that there were problems about the question of gadget.
Okay, kukhona wakwenza mhlambe kulelo banga lelo mphathi.
Khona engakwenza.
Yeah, kulento ama gadget. Mhlambe wakhuza wathetha wenza.
Hayi, ngingena lapha. This is
Bakani,
municipality. I'm a minister of police.
Wambuza kodwa.
Uba
Yena mhlambe uSibiya mhlambe kwalithola ithuba lokuthi umbize.
was not a
Uthi
police.
indoda ngale.
Sibiya was not a police.
Angithi ngibuza ngoba mhlambe masesebenza endaweni ephethwe wena mhlambe ukumbuza indoda nje bososebenza la kumina kunecala elithi ngapha kwenzakalana.
I could not have asked him because 3 institutions had already declared him, and I've mentioned those institutions. But when this was raised there, I was a minister of police, not a mayor. I'm sure the mayor could have done better to ask him.
Okay, no ngiyabonga kakhulu ba. Kule ndaba le 360 million tender yakaKhet. Ngiyazi ukuthi awungeni mhlawumbe endabeni yokuthi alithole itender. And ngiyayazi procedure yokuthi tender lihamba kanjani ukuze lithole. But I just want to know ukuthi wena as a minister, because it's alleged ukuthi politicians, specifically ministers, have influence. Did you have any influence ukuthi alithole leli tender mhlawumbe uKhet Matlala?
I didn't know anything about the tender, let alone influence. I could not have influenced the tender that I didn't know about.
Ubudlelwano bakho no General Khumalo bunjani boma babunjani?
Muphi Khumalo?
Khumalo lobo.
Uno General Jabulani, uno Dumsani. Muphi.
uDumsani
No.
Head of Intelligence.
Ubudlelwano bami is good. Okay, wa good.
Buke balemala phambilini
Lutho.
kaze.
Lutho.
Nalo umunye uJabulani Khumalo ngoba usomfakile ngisale ngibuza.
Okay. I'm not very close to Jabulani like Khumalo. Khumalo work quite closely. The Jabulani SP, Utumsan, we have worked very close, especially what put us together are these things of political killings. He has been a special task force, Jabulani, so he's more on the operation out there. But that we are enemies or I hate him, it will be a ridiculous statement to say. No.
Ngikubuza ngoba ngifuna ukunderstanda la mphathi ukuthi lokukhubhana kwalabo general lephezulu ngokwakho ucabanga kubangelwa yini kwasuswa yini futhi makuthi khona ozophumelela between these two parties uyowina yini lelo elwayo lapho ngokubuka kwakho usewumphathi as a minister?
Babengahubhani ngisekhona. Bahubhane manje sengihambile.
Manje sohambile.
Baze bahubhane ngikhona nawe kwaZuso.
Ngokwakho ukwazi yini inkinga mphathi?
Ngeke ngazi ngoba ngikho.
Lutho. Asibeke phansi kahle kodwa ngijabule kahle. Ngiyabonga.
No.
Minister,
but kunjalo angikho so ngizokwazi kanjani.
Angifuni ukuxabanisa nawe. Ngibiza nginunu manje ngithi angibaleke lapho. Minister, uformer minister Mchunu ukhulume ngendaba yokuthi ungihlulile kahle kahle enkulumeni ye recording, ye voice recording. I just want to know from you as a minister, because ngibonile mawuqala ukukhuluma ukuthi cha indoda eqotho uyibeka nje into enjalo. Pertaining ukurecordwa komuntu efonini ungamtshelanga noma ungayitholanga permission, what's your take on that? Is it correct makathi
that is illegal.
kumele ube khona kwesithathu?
That is illegal.
As a minister, is it a criminal offense to do that? If we are minister,
Well-
the question is that.
You see, you phone the bank or they phone you, they say, we must warn you. You could simply say, I'm dropping it now. Or any other people, they would say, I would warn you. This one, I thought it's illegal that I speak to you and you're taping me. Whether it's a criminal offense or whatever kind of it, I can't tell. The learned friends can tell on that one. But I would suspect that is, maybe saying is illegal is a strong term, but I don't think it's permitted that you can tape me without my consent.
Njengomunye wayephethe amaphoyisa in the minister's position, cela ukubuza as a citizen. Ubaba uMchunu ufike la wathi ke yena uyena onikeze, according to me uthe instruction yokuthi abomrecorder umkhwanazi uMr Mchunu, uMr Nkabinde. But ugcine sethi ke kube umbono wakhe. Do you think as a minister unikeze umbono o illegal noma u exempted from ukuthi wenze iphutha?
So I don't think it's a correct thing to tape somebody that is not. I'm trying to avoid using legal teams or legal, no unlawful and all that. I don't belong there. But I would say I see nothing right about it. I guess it is wrong. If then the wrong thing, you can't come here and boast that you have stolen, but it's me who gave you you the instruction to go and steal. So you would have told me that, but especially if you're understanding, by the way, Nkabinde is a cop. He's a police, Nkabinde. So he cannot be given by a civilian an instruction when he's a police himself and has worked as a police and worked in the IPIT and all that kind of stuff. You cannot. The Constitution and legislative is very clear that you can't take the wrong instruction. Even the Constitution says so.
Ngiyabonga baba. Were you aware of the alleged unethical relationship between the former IPID head Robert McBride and Paul O'Sullivan?
Well, yes, I have heard they are quite close by Zwana, but I don't have the evidence. How far does it take and all? But I've heard so that by Zwana, even M17, I was told with Basizan.
Njoba usuthi ke uNkabinde beyiphoyisa kuchaza ukuthi uyamazi umbuzo wami ozoba ukuthi did you know uNkabinde law server as the chief of staff manje, but on record do you know him? Just for the record.
Yes, I do.
You do. Do you know why yekela kwa IPID?
I don't know why, but it looks like it was a clash between him and one of the seniors. I can't remember who that senior was, but looks like there was a clash. I don't think it was a voluntary kind of resignation, but it looks like there was some clash with the senior people, which I really can't remember very, very well.
In paragraph 2 of Lieutenant General Mkhwana's statement, he claims that information he presented before the ad hoc committee was based on personal knowledge, relevant document, and discussion with informed officials. But we've been informed that the error occurred and he'll be writing a senior statement on that matter. So I wanted to ask a question on that. But the question is it true that Lieutenant General Mkhwana has stopped communicating with you after you persuaded him, after you persuaded him to ask General Khumalo to resign from SAPS.
It's not true.
It's not true. What can I know?
Ngicela ukukhuluma naye. I think I spoke in June and he sent me a message in July. So sending a message out, guess, is a communication.
Awukaze umcela ukuthi aphushele uKhumalo ukuthi mhlamba resign SAPS.
No, I did speak to him about Khumalo coming to work in Gauteng. We did speak about that.
Okay, ngiyabonga. Bengifuna nje ukudlulisa lapho. Ngithathe enkulumeni yakho ukuthi lento yamahearsay yawo uyithandi. So ngifuna siyibuke la. Do you know ukuthi who funded the ANC with CR17 campaign?
No, I don't know.
You don't know. You said MK ufandwe uLiebenberg or ufande Bab Zuma. And I think the MK party would maybe write and talk to that matter if they wish to do so, or even Bab Zuma. So if you don't know ama funders were CR17 documents that were sealed, what intelligence did you use to get the information MK found Liebenberg?
It was a public information.
Ibingasilwanga.
No, it was a public information that Liebenberg himself did say he has helped Umsholos to pay 500,000 for him, for his case to be enrolled.
Uke wayiconfirm mhlambe?
Yes, I have confirmed it.
How did you confirm leyo mali leyo?
Because it was in the court papers, and then the matter was then enrolled.
Wena as ubabcele uyayiconfirma leyo mali unabo ubufakazi ukuthi ayiwayithola ngempela le mali?
Ayike uLuenberg, having said that publicly, that is information. I might be lying if he lies, but if he speaks the truth, I'm speaking the truth.
Okay, uthathi here and say wayichupha.
No, I go on here say
Uyizwe ngayo.
it's from the horse's mouth.
Thank you babcele. uLiebenberg lo khuluma ngayo uyena lo wanikeza unkosikazi kaBaba uPaul Mashatile iring ye-diamond.
Yes,
Uyena loyo.
not a ring,
I-diamond.
a piece of
Piece
diamond.
of diamond. Uyena yena loyo.
Yes.
Okay. It's very
So,
clear.
impela uyena.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Ngifuna nje sidlule lapho. uMatlala ukhethe njengoba usuvumile ukuthi uyamazi.
Angaze ngiphike futhi.
Ngiyabongisa baba. Wazi amadoda amakhulu. You said uMatlala wanted to fund the president yakababa uMchunu. Siyavumelana.
What did I say?
You said uMatlala wanted to fund the presidency yakababa uMchunu.
Matlala told me that he was requested to fund. That he wanted, I'm not sure. But that he was told, I'm told.
You are told. Zahamba kule amahearsay ne. Lamahearsay ongawathandi. Seselapha.
It's not a hearsay. It's a horse's mouth.
Sho njalo.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think kunawo umthelela lokuthi ithenda kaMatlala icisho ize ivalwe lokuthi mhlawumbe akafunanga ukufanda ubaba uMchunu?
That will be hearsay. And I don't want to get in the hearsay. I've never heard it. It will be said by me, and when I will be hearing the hearsay from me. I have no information either told or read anywhere that is the case. So I really don't know about that.
Kule horse's mouth yaka Liebenberg. Yemali ekhokhiwe ku-MK. Yayisikhona yini MK makugena le mali okhuluma ngayo?
That's why my statement is stroke, either Msholozi or MK. So if it is not MK, Msholozi.
Oh. Sengiphelele isikhathi kanjalo. So le
But-
lento
but-
ekhulumayo
But can I add on that?
please ba.
Eh,
Mhlambe usa-eda ungichazisele ukuthi ushongo ukuthi mhlambe yangena nini or uyayicabangela nje uyifaka nje ngoba mele ingenile
ayangena.
yangena.
Sungacheka wena ukuthi
Sengisho le
yangena
nkulumo yangena nini
ini manje
imali baba. Before
Yangena
iMK iba
nges-
khona or after iMK ibe khona angibuzeli ukuthi ingene ku Zoom or MK sengibuza ukuthi isiphi isikhathi salento oyikhulumayo othi awuyizwanga endleleni awuyidobhanga ndawo uyizwe kuye ngithi usasikhumbula mhlambe isikhathi oyizwe kuye lo muntu eyikhuluma ukuthi kunini
Ngisikhumbula kahle isikhathi, but I would not remember whether it was before or after MK. But I could say that there would be really clips and videos where MK is on the platform supporting in court, supporting.
abangukuthi siyeke mphathi ngoba sikhuluma into
Siyekela manje.
awunasho
No, that one is sure.
sho ngani baba ngesikhathi
Ukuthi when
Your time has unfortunately come to an end.
how much time did I have chair bathe ngino 20 minutes right usho wena chair so that means our 20 minutes chair ngithi so our 20 minutes ayipheli manje Kodwa phela ngideleli chair
We must not argue about the allocation. We must not argue about the allocation of time.
no chair athi mhlambe ngihloniphe
We-
ngivale chair
We
Ngombuzo
allocate 1 hour 20 minutes for a full member and an alternate. 1 hour for the member, 20 minutes for the alternate. It has been that with Honorable Ngola and Honorable Sokanyile. They finished 3 minutes before their time. You benefited from that. It's now after 10 minutes past 9. Past 7.
kunenkinga la chair
So we-
uyaziva ukuthi uthini
Honorable members who are coming back at 8 o'clock who are breaking immediately.
Check nenkinga la. She even uFairwood wayengenje. Wayelalela abantu yazi che. Che ungamprotect ubabcele ngiyamcela che.
I need no protection from nobody.
Che abanye bapha ama extra minutes mina unginiki ngonile yini ngalento engibuza ngayo babcele.
I need no protection from
Che
nobody.
Ungacima general imic yakho.